first meal for him. I'm going to be doing a crock-pot meal. We're going to be doing a Mississippi roast. You will have seen that roast, that grocery haul by the time you see this video. And so that has to cook pretty much all day in the crock-pot, and we cook it low and slow instead of high. And we're just making a day of it. We're going to go and do some things around the town where he lives in. And so, like I said, it's pretty early, but I was up, and I, just get on the road and hang out for the day to just kind of do stuff. I have in my trunk all of my things. So my wagon that has all of my crock pot. He does not own a crock pot. He doesn't own one. And I was going to get him one, but he doesn't use it. So it's not something that he would have a need for. So I just brought my own stuff. I feel better bringing my things. And I told him, I said, don't feel a type of way about that. But I just feel better bringing my own stuff because I know my things. I even brought some of my own seasonings. I know that's crazy. And he would have that. But it just makes me feel better to have what I need to have. I'm not in my kitchen. And so I wanted to make sure that I had all the things that I need. And he said it was fine. And if there's something I need, we can just go out and buy it. But I just felt better bringing all of my things. So I did bring my wagon that Trandon got for me for Mother's Day. And I was able to put all of my things in my wagon. And then I could fold it down and put it in my trunk so I can be able to carry all of my cooking things. Now, all of my food stuffs, the roast, the rolls, the desserts, I'm doing the whole thing. All of that is in my cooler. Now, I do have a cooler in the back seat of my car. So I have the wagon with all of my cooking utensils in my trunk. And then I have the cooler with all of my food items in the back seat of my car. I am going to bring you guys along for the day, especially the cooking part. He will not be in the video, but I will bring you guys along for the cooking part. And it'll be great, right? Yes, we're going to have an absolute ball. We're going to go out and there's a little farmer's market thing that I like to, found it on TikTok actually, that I'd like to go around and see, and he's going to take me over there to see the plants. And we're just going to have a leisurely day. It's the holiday, and we're just going to have a leisurely day, not really doing a whole bunch. Everybody has to, get ready to get back for work and everything. So it's just going to be one of those, let's hang out. And again, we're doing it pretty early so that, times in the evening won't be an issue. But there it is. The kids are home. They did not, of course, want to be bothered with all the old people. And I was going to bring Gwen because Gwen is his girlfriend. But I don't want to be bothered with Gwen. I don't want to be bothered with Gwen. Not when I'm doing kitchen stuff and all the things. Of course, she probably would not even know I exist because he does have treats. And she loves a good treat. But anywho, just thought I would let you guys know that we are getting on the road, headed down. I don't know if it's up or down. I'm not my directions right. So headed to where he lives so that we could do, I'm going to be cooking a meal. So I just thought you guys might want to come and hang out with me. All right, you guys, we'll talk in a little bit.
Alrighty, you guys. So here we are. We are in Babe's kitchen. And listen, here's the thing, right? I brought all of my things because I'm familiar with my things. I'm familiar with how my kitchen runs. I'm not familiar with how his runs. And so I wanted to make sure that I had all of my, the things that I needed to make sure that this meal went off without a hitch. So I have a bag full of ingredients, and I also have a cooler. And he absolutely knew I was bringing all of this stuff. I just told him that ahead of time so that he would be aware, hey, I'm bringing all of the things. The only rule about today's dinner was he was not allowed in the kitchen. This was my treat. This was my my gift to him. He was actually in the living room watching TV. I guess it was just our time to be together, and I wanted to treat us by making a meal. And so I am making Mississippi pot roast. I felt like it was one thing that I could do in the crock pot that would not take a lot on my part to do. I wanted to make a meal, but I also wanted to spend time because we don't get to spend as much time as we would like. And so I got this, I think it's a 4.5 pound chuck roast. I had forgotten to put my crock pot bag in because I wanted to make sure that the cleanup was as easy as possible. And I did bring a crock pot bag. So I'm using a chuck roast. And then to that chuck roast, I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 onion packet of brown gravy mix. I was just going to get an onion, but then I thought, hey, I'll just get the one with the brown gravy onion packet. I got 1 packet of the ranch dressing seasoning, and then 1 stick of this is salted butter. I didn't put any more seasonings on this, and it worked out very well. I did add the whole jar of pepperoncinis, and then I decided to make spiced apples. This is a 2-quart crock pot, and so I just found a bag of apples at Food Lion. I think it was $2.99 for the entire bag, but they're really small apples. And so I just spent time cutting up all those apples, and then I added in half a stick of butter, and you'll see me add in some dark brown sugar at one point to just go ahead and get this cooking. I cooked this on low, and I let this go for several hours. Can't remember how many hours, but I just put a couple pats of butter in there just so that as the fruit began to release its juices, nothing stuck. I didn't have any small crock pot liners for this particular crock pot. These turned out absolutely delicious. It's been a very long time since I have made spiced apples. I generally don't use sugar. I don't use brown sugar, white sugar. I just have tried to stay away from those types of things. However, this was a special treat, and it was our treat meal. It was my treat meal. I mean, he eats whatever he wants, but of course I am on a plan over here. So this was my treat meal, and so I am treating myself. So again, I just used this brown sugar to add, and I did not measure this out specifically. I just eyeballed it, and then I also added in some cinnamon. And this is just a regular Food Line brand of brown sugar. I did not use anything name brand at all. So like I said, I put this on low. I did not want this to cook too fast, and I didn't want it to be overly done by the time the roast was done. So again, I just put this in a small crock pot, and it worked out just fine. He really did like these. I'm not real sure if he's had these before. I know I've never cooked him a meal before. So again, this was a first for us. We've gone out to eat lots of times and enjoy each other's company when we do that. Just sprinkling around some cinnamon. Went a little heavy on the cinnamon. I just like that, and it worked out absolutely fine. Plug this in, and it worked out. Now I'm getting ready to make the mashed potatoes. I did a garlic parmesan mash, and I just picked out the bigger ones. I figured the smaller ones I could eat in my meal plan, you know, as my carb when I'm going to the gym. So what I did was I just washed these off, and I used my Instant Pot to make these. I didn't start these until about an hour and a half before the roast was done, but I did want to make sure that I had everything taken care of, washed, and all of the things. And so yeah, that's how that all went. So here I am. I did try to clean and make sure that I was keeping everything nice, you know, of course, not my kitchen. But then I made a pizza bread. So everything you see me make this far was for dinner. This was for a lunch. I went very early so that we would have the majority of the day to spend together. And we had an early dinner because, of course, it is a long drive. But he's never had a pizza bread. And so I just got a loaf from, this is Italian bread from Walmart. And then I just slice this on the diagonal, and you're going to see me add in some stuff. So I well, I thought you were going to see me adding some stuff. Let's see. Okay, so I have moved on. I did buy a jarred pizza sauce, but I knew it wasn't going to be what I needed. So I'm going to spice this up. So I'm adding in about 1/4 of a can of tomato paste. And then you're going to see me add in some parsley. I'm going to add in some dried oregano. And then I'm also going to make some confit garlic and mash that up. And you're going to see me add in some of that. And I put this in a second crock pot. We actually had to go to Walmart to purchase this crock pot because I needed an extra one. I didn't want to put it on the stove. What happened was at the very last minute, his air conditioner went out. And so I really didn't want to make too much heat in the house because we were in the house, but, you know, with no air. He had a portable unit and the fans going, but when you heat the house up in North Carolina, it'd be hot. So here I am doing that confit garlic, and then I'm going to add that into the butter. And as I add that into the butter, I'm then going to take that and add that on top of the garlic bread. Now, what you didn't see me do was fill it. Each slice got some garlic parmesan butter in between and some pizza cheese. And then he had some pepperonis that he wanted me to add. And so I added those on one side and just left one side cheese. I'm saving the remainder of that garlic butter for the mashed potatoes. Now I'm doing some pesto green beans. He had the best pots and pans, y'all. And so I got my green beans boiling, and my potatoes had gone on the cook cycle for 16 minutes. And I'm mashing everything up. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of milk. I'm going to add in some of that garlic butter. And that is actual garlic pieces that I did the confit. And then we're going to add in seasoning, salt, black pepper. What else did I add in here? Added in some sour cream. I'm not real sure if you saw that, but I did add in some sour cream. Oh, there you go. And then I added in some Parmesan cheese at the end. So I was doing a garlic parm mashed potato. And again, he's never had a meal that I've cooked before. My kids think I cook well. It was, you know, up to his interpretation at this point whether it was going to be good or not. So I did taste it, and I got him to do a little bit of a taste test off camera just to see if it needed anything extra. He did not request anything else there. And so we called it good from there. I did everything, like I said, inside of the Instant Pot or the crock pot. Just made it easier for cleanup. These were very, very good. We did keep the skins on. I asked him ahead of time, did he like skins on or skins off? He said on was fine. And here I'm just adding in about half of that of the Parmesan cheese. And I wanted to do the shaved kind instead of just the shaky cheese, because I felt like that would give it a more nuttier flavor. And so there that is. It all turned out to be just a really good experience, you know, providing a meal. So I went ahead and drained my green beans, added in some garlic butter and some pesto, homemade pesto from my freezer, and gave those a quick stir. He had never had pesto green beans, but they were amazing. I threw in some yeast rolls at the end, and here is how everything turned out. That is my chuck roast with my pesto green beans. The apples, absolutely delicious. You could put that over ice cream. And then my garlic parm mashed potatoes. Here are our, here's our spread. And then here you'll see our plates. We do want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like the video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.